today we're again with our best friend, Kam Gupta. Hello, Kam. How are you?
Hello, how are you, Ricardo?
Very good. We were talking and we decided to make this video because there is one thing that everybody thinks they are doing well, and it's called the Gemba Walk. So, what is a Gemba Walk?
Yeah, so it's very interesting how people understand Gemba Walk and how does it become a routine in our daily lives, yet it loses its significance. So it becomes another activity rather than a purposeful drive. That's what my observation has been in Gemba. So since I'm here with Dr. Ricardo Hirata, so I thought maybe I will ask his opinion in what an ideal Gemba Walk really is, or what are certain variations of Gemba Walk in like manufacturing versus service, maybe an accounting company. So with that thought, I thought maybe I'll pick up his brain.
Okay.
So maybe you can tell me, Ricardo, what is really a Gemba Walk from your experience?
A Gemba Walk is it's an activity that you need mostly done in several companies in order for people to understand what's going on in the real world. Some companies are thinking that the Gemba Walk is the real world is only the Gemba. The Gemba is only at the operations level. But what they don't understand is that this real world is also in every different tier or layer in the company. So you can do a Gemba Walk of the executive level, a Gemba Walk of the middle level, and a Gemba Walk of the activity level. But what I have seen is that, okay, it's good in first place that the executives or everybody does a Gemba because you need to go to the source where the operations, service, or manufacturing is done. But there's a lot of, not malpractice, but I think not really understanding what it is. And what I have seen is that, for example, top executives, they do a Gemba Walk, they go to the operational level every week or every 2 weeks, but it's like an audit. So they go there and only searching for problems and deviations, malpractices in the operations, and directly tell the operator or the supervisor that they need to improve things. I'm not sure that's the best way to do the Gemba Walk.
So maybe before we go any further, maybe first tell us what it is called in Japanese itself.
So Gemba in Japanese, because of the Japanese character, Gemba is the real workplace, whatever the workplace means. Okay? The different symbols is very interesting. One of the symbols means the king, or the top guy.
Okay.
And the ba and the other symbol of gen means when your eyes have feet. So the gen in Gemba is when the Lord or the king uses his eyes through walking. That's the first symbol. And ba means the workplace itself. It's in the old times, the workplace would be agriculture or feeding animals.
Right.
So it's the sun, and it's the cow, and it's the land. So that symbol that has these three symbols is ba. So Gemba is the workplace, and walk in English is go and see. I think that's the translation.
So is the walk an American term, or they use in Japanese also that kind of thing?
No, I think it's more in the American way. They translate it to Gemba Walk.
And what do they call them?
The Gemba.
Just Gemba.
Just Gemba. They used to also call it tachimbo. Maybe you've heard that term, tachimbo. Tachimbo is just be standing up, go to the source, stand up 10, 15 minutes. Observe what's going on. Right now it's not a very politically correct term, but it's, so some companies still use tachimbo. Just go and stand there, breathe, observe, hear, touch, and see what's going on there. That will be another way to understand it. But basically it's go to where things are being worked out.
That means you got to be present there. You cannot be thinking anywhere else.
Yes.
You are there, it's like a meditation or a Zen thing, yet you are looking at different things.
Yes, I think that's the origin of it. We should then talk, maybe not today, but of course with all AI, videos and things, well, Gemba has been enriched with all these sources of information. But I really believe that even if you see a video, if you have never been in the Gemba, the video will mean absolutely nothing for you, right? So how about you? How would you define the Gemba Walk?
So I really did not know the true meaning of Gemba, but I knew that Gemba Walk is that we go out on the floor and we go where the action is taking place and look at where the roadblocks are happening and look at where the situation looks not normal, document them, find the source of the information, and as an executive, make sure I take action immediately to have it fixed rather than wait for somebody else to come and fix it. That was my learning when I learned it. But in practice, I see it has variations. Sometimes we just take notes, make a report, and then send it out, and then get it fixed. If they don't fix it, we come back again, and we find the same thing, and then get it fixed.
Yes.
And so, over and over again, we keep finding same things. That means Gemba has not really added value in my mind.
No, and I think it's totally right. Top executives go to the Gemba Walk. They make some lists of findings, and then they write a report, and then there's somebody else who says, hey, that's the same finding of last week's, so this, you have not fixed that in 2 weeks. And a lot of statistics of why are you not improving or doing anything, but the condition remains absolutely the same. Or they fix it, they hide it, and in the next Gemba Walk, the finding comes out again.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it is the reason for doing that, I think, is because the customers ask us, are you doing Gemba Walk? Now, we have never heard of that term before. So immediately we scramble, we say, okay, what is Gemba Walk? We got to start doing it because it's a big customer. Yeah. So they start doing it without really in-depth understanding the intent of it, not just the process, but the reason for it. Why we do Gemba Walk? And the question is why these problems are happening. It's even root cause analysis, more deeper in that sense. So that affects the culture of the organization, I think. So that is what I'm finding out, that maybe these were the reasons that many companies started Gemba Walks, because first of all, they sound kind of interesting.
Or somebody asked them to do it.
Yeah, and somebody has asked them or inquired about it. And it seems like a good marketing strategy. And maybe if they see the benefit, then they're able to internalize it. But if they see that, yes, it is keeping us all right, then they maybe continue that way because they don't learn any deeper.
Yes. And one thing is that, you said it right now, is go to the source, go to the Gemba, but try to make quick decision making, especially of the projects that you as the person who made the Gemba has the power to execute those actions. Not just write a report and make somebody else do it. So if the top executive makes a Gemba Walk, after the Gemba Walk, he must also define which are the initiatives, actions that are his or her responsibility. Not just make a report so that somebody else has to fix it. I think we have made a mistake there. And the top, if you tell me the top 10, no? The person who is always to blame is maintenance. And next is HR, because there's no training.
Or the operator.
And the operator. But the top executives or the middle managers never have the opportunity to convert that finding into a quick, it should be quick, in a quick series of activities to improve or to act over that. What do you think about that?
And funny thing is that sometimes these repeated findings may become the cause of disciplinary actions.
Oh, yeah.
rather than really understanding why do they repeat. So those are kind of things that crossed my mind, and I thought this will be perfect.
No, no.
Where to ask an expert here?
No, I mean, you are too. But it's a good lesson. Many people lose their bonuses or their incentives, but they don't have the power or the empowerment, the resources to fix it. And it's because somebody higher than these people found something that they should solve, but they don't have the power to solve it. And those who have the power to solve it didn't do anything. So I think it's a good learning of how to do a good game.
So now there's another topic on that one. So this was more about that the top-notch people should do it, top
Yes.
leadership, right? What if Gemba has been delegated, and now you have engineers and supervisors and quality, and they're going out and they're looking at the Gemba things, and then they're making the report, and then they're distributing it. But top is not involved in terms of really walking. They're more looking at the report, and it's like same thing as it's like an audit thing now. So what do you think about that process? Is that really intent of Gemba?
No, not necessarily. Maybe, let's see if I understand correctly. They sometimes do after the end of the shift or at the middle of the shift. They just analyze the data that's coming out from the lines. They do nice graphs, and then they say, hey, we have a deviation, this is the cause. They never go back to the Gemba. And then they write a nice table which it says, quick action, corrective, preventive, did we solve the problem? Yes, no. And at the end of the shift, they say, we had 3 deviations, but we solved them. But nobody went to the Gemba. Nobody talked to the people. I don't know what you think.
Should the Gemba be done on the same line every day, or it should be like sampling different days, different places? Like the top executive, there are 10 lines. So how they cannot spend so much time doing Gemba for the all 10 lines. But can they, like they can do one Gemba this time, one Gemba that line or something like that? You think that's the way we do it?
I think that's commonly done.
That's commonly done?
Yeah, I think it's commonly done that way. Although it doesn't mean that it's like the be president one day. So just do one line because of a sampling. No, I think you could go to one line one day or 1 week or the other line another week and make it that way. I say it's sampling because if you don't find anything,
Right.
then you can reduce the number of inspections, but the sample size. But if you find something, you should try to just verify that it's not working in the other way. How about, what do you think about?
I think my focus remains on if you don't take actions, timely actions, then these Gemba walks also become a routine,
Yes.
an added activity which is taking productive time away from us that could have been used maybe in improving the quality by so many resources in that sense.
Yes, I agree that. Yeah.
But if it is making a difference, then I think they are
worth
value
it.
adding.
Yes, it's like 5S audits. You know, if it's just to put happy faces and put flags and things, it doesn't work very well.
And I think in that spirit, you mentioned the word 5S. I've seen so many variations of 5S also. Some people just do one S, and they say, yeah, we are implementing 5S program, and that one S remains in place, and then after a while, even that begins to, then they do it, come back again, shape it up, then do it again. So that means the workplace is not really benefiting from the 5S, but it is certainly a check mark for the customer. Do you have 5S? Yes, we do 5S. I mean, and that's a wasted resource in my mind. What do you think?
Well, in my personal experience, what I think is there has been like a misunderstanding of the 5S. Trying to just the meaning of it is not only housekeeping to make it look clean.
Yep.
So the original 5S program is, as you mentioned, is to develop people in order for them to have a quality conscience or an improvement conscience. So if they see something that's not right, any deviation, maybe starting from housekeeping because it's what you can take action on it. But the most important part of 5S is to make people skilled enough to be able to do improvements. But if you only tell me you're dirty and now you're clean, I don't care if you're clean. What is more important is how did you get from dirty to clean, and how are you going to make it always clean? That's in the standpoint of housekeeping. But in the standpoint of improvement is, in order to make that happen, now I know how to measure, now I know take photos, now I know how to make a fishbone diagram or 5 whys, and then I decided to do these kind of improvements that will help others and help me to be a better person, or a continuous improvement person. Many companies don't understand this. They are just doing it dirty, clean. But in maintenance, it's not dirty, clean. It's lubrication.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of things.
A lot of other things, right?
Potential cracks, misplacement, bolt missing,
Yes.
oil leaks, and all those things.
Yes.
So another thing is, because these practices started in Japan, where the workforce is pretty stable, low turnover.
Yes.
So they can be sustained with the same people. In our country, in USA, there is so much turnover in most companies that if I train somebody, he's gone next day, he or she is gone next day, then how do you sustain that? What is your experience with that?
Well, the first thing is it's governance. I have seen that many companies do start 5S, but they don't have, in Spanish it's gobierno, but in English it's governance. So they build muscle, but they don't have the backbone. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to manage the 5S, and how are you going to align it with Kaizen activities? So that's maybe the first pillar that we should focus on. And so it really matters if you have a lot of turnover, but then if it's part of the work, it's part of the standardized work, then it's a little better even if you have a lot of turnover, because then you give this 30-day, in English is onboarding, and in the onboarding it's already established what is 5S, what is your job, what you have to do. Now, if you go before 30 days, well, then that's another type of...
When you say 12% turnover every month,
yeah, that's great.
That will be hard.
But basically,
to sustain.
As human beings, if you are working in a nice environment, it's more likely that you're going to live in and try to maintain that. So the first challenge is to make things happen so that new people are like the place, and they will try to keep it that way. What has functioned to me is not to evaluate the 5S as the before and after, dirty clean, but by the number of initiatives that the people who work there are able to aim to take. So people will also win, not also skills, but also maybe some kind of awards, because they did things to make things happen.
That's a Kaizen activity.
Yeah. So they have converted 5S into Kaizen activities. I think that's the first very important thing. The second one, is not in order, but the second idea is, in your structure, who is going to be responsible of the 5S? If you give it to maintenance, it's going to have one focus. If 5S is managed by HR, it will have another focus. If you give it to safety, it's going to have another priorities. Yeah. And if you give it to operational excellence or quality, it's totally going to have another way of managing that. So the best thing you can do, in case you're a large company, it works if you are able to build like a big committee, team with all these stakeholders who also define the good KPIs for that in terms of improvement and efficiency and effectiveness and all of that. And then they jointly design how are they going to do the 5S. Because I have really seen how things are totally different depending on who is the director of the 5S.
And then many times 5S is done because our operators are so busy, we cannot give them time to clean it. So we hire somebody from outside to clean and maintain 5S. So, but what happens is that an operator don't develop that discipline.
Yes.
They continue to mess it up, and then somebody else will clean it.
Yes.
So there's added cost then.
It's an added cost. Well, but supposedly that is an industrial cleaning, so you have to hire somebody. But the positive thing is that then it's easier to say, so 5S is not cleaning. Now you begin to do Kaizen.
Exactly.
Because somebody else is going to help you clean. Now you focus on that. But I think that if you're able to sustain 5S at least 2 years,
Then you can.
Yeah, things are not going to go well, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of videos in the Japanese companies when they started implementing 5S, how dirty it was, then they cleaned everything up and it looked like totally different company. And I said, oh my God, they better cleaner than my house. But very organized. So I like that idea. And I implemented that in my garage. But same thing, because I was short of people, so it went back.
You are lower. No, but I think it's the KPI. As long as it works, because I was once in a Japanese company too, and I was with a group of people, and they knew 5S, and they got in, and they saw some lines in the wall, and they say, they are not 5S. Look, the wall is dirty, or the wall has some lines. And then they asked the manager, I mean, you're 5S, and why is this wall not so clean? And the answer was very, very humble. He said, well, we are aware that this wall is not as clean as it should be, but it's not a critical part for our process or for our customer. We have it already in our budget for next year. So next year we will going to paint it. But this is not critical now for our operation. So everybody was like, okay, so it's not cleaning only. No, it's not cleaning only. You need to use your resources for what your
where it matters.
What it matters first, right? No, safety first, of course. Obviously, quality, cost, delivery, and things. We talk every day on that.
Very good. I think this is a good topic. So what counsel will you give to companies who want to start 5S, and how should they begin?
I really think that the most important part of this is first talk to top management first, and then understand why they have to do 5S. It's because some customer told them to do 5S. Also, you will understand if they know or they have no idea of what 5S is. And depending on the size and depending on the priorities, maybe design order-made 5S implementation. It's not the same if the company needs, for example, food safety. Food, it's very strict. So then maybe you need to start with safety first. Safety is, so everything that has to do with safety, food safety, you need to address it at the beginning. If safety is not precisely the issue, because they are very good, maybe what's really the challenge? Okay, then it's maintenance, for example. Okay, then let's build up a 5S program for maintenance, or for quality, or for flow, for continuous flow, so that the company can also understand the importance of doing improvements in their own priority. But if they start doing a typical, one box fits all 5S, they will say, okay, let's go and do the one-day cleaning, and it's not going to work. And third, I think it depends also in the size of the company. It's not the same a company that has 50 people, 150, 2,000, or it's a very large conglomerate. So we need to understand that and build the governance, the different committees or roles that everybody should have in order for the program to address.
And the budget and the resources also.
Yes, and the resources they will have. I usually do during the first interview, not even the seminar, I invite all the top managers to go to a Gemba Walk. And say, okay, you want 5S? What's the priority? What's your resources? What's the potential governance structure? And then let's go a walk. Let's take photos and let's see and that and ha ha ha. And then you decide if you really want to make good 5S. And then we design the program, always starting with top management seminar, and then so on. Depending on the company, another factor, maybe you have done it too, you prefer to start in a pilot area and bring that shiny, nice. I don't like the word shiny because it's also like clean. One area where people are really engaged with doing Kaizens in that area, and then you try to replicate the other ones.
Yes, I think that will be more doable for many companies.
For many companies, yes.
If they truly want to do it.
Yes. Yeah. And but there's another one. It's first, in case of Mexico, is go and talk to the union. And so the union will say,
Right.
okay, do you want only one place? Because there's going to be awards and clothing and prices. And then, so the union sometimes says, no. I cannot just give, carne asada or something to just one people. I don't want to have problems. So I'm going to help you. But the pilot program is going to be one area in all the 5 different plants of the company.
Okay.
But when the union says, I'm going to help you, then things change. So maybe our role is also like a strategist. It's not one fits all. So yes, it's one pilot, but is it only one place? Or is it in all the places? But depending on factors like the union, the resources, of course, and the time the people have to do it. I don't know if you have lived.
Yeah, time. Everything takes time.
Yeah.
And the reason these things have become necessary, because we have failed to do our due diligence when we design processes.
Yes.
These are all add-ons.
Yes.
I mean, they should have been, if you think about it, these are common sense things, right? They should have been done when we design the line. How we will keep it clean? How we will keep it maintained? How will we make sure that there will be no problems when we run? In our pilot runs, have we encountered any issues? How do we fix it now so we don't run them when we are running production? So those are issues that sometimes maybe we fail to see, and hence the need for 5S, and because we let go of those things.
Yes, I agree totally.
Yeah. And one more thing that came to my mind is, if you remember in Lean, we used to talk about value stream mapping.
Yes.
So it reminds me a little bit of that aspect that you're doing a walking, but in value stream we are looking at the value added versus muda, kind of thing.
Yield, yes.
And here we are looking at muda mostly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? But that's the only difference that I see. And that's more visual, that's more like we visualize it, video it, analyze it.
In the value stream.
And in the value stream, yeah. And here we only visualize it, document it, and then correct it, right?
Yes, unless you made a great keynote speech in the AMTE event, but also not only look back, but if you already have the culture not only of Kaizen but also of risk analysis, then you will do the 5S and the Gemba. It's like for safety. Maybe you don't have an accident, but you don't want to have one.
You don't have.
So you go and see if there's no hazardous, I think in English it's hazardous situations, conditions that may lead you to a recall, to an accident, to an incident. So I think it can be also preventive, totally preventive.
Yeah.
But most of the times is looking back, yes. Okay?
I thank you for that thing, because I did want to learn about that part more.
No, me too. It's always very interesting to talk to you. Well, this was the intention of this Gemba Walk and 5S. Ended up in a 5S dialogue with Cam. Thank you, Cam.
Very good. Thank you so much.